Good afternoon. My name is Pam Hoffman. Today I will be talking about planning the perfect wedding. First, congratulations on your engagement. This is an exciting time, but it can be stressful. This presentation given today will hopefully take away some of the stress. Some of the topics that will be covered are the timeline, the budget, the guest list, invitations, the venue, the menu, and the wedding dress. Before you think about linens and colors, take a breather and visualize the overall inspiration of the event. Think about what you want the event to look like. Put your inspirations and your fiance's inspirations side by side and see how they work together. Do you want it to be grand or formal? Do you want it to be rustic or vintage? The formality of the wedding has an impact on the number of guests, the menu, the type of dress, and the formal wear you will choose. Think of the season. If you want to get married outside or inside, think of the size of the wedding. Intimate, average, or large. When you're going through the process of planning, you can get overwhelmed with countless ideas. Knowing your big picture will help you stay on track. The first topic to discuss is the budget. It is crucial to confirm how much you have to spend on your wedding. I think the best advice for couples is don't force yourself or your family into debt over your wedding. Talk with your families about who will pay for what. Today, it is common for the bride's family, the groom's family, and the couple to pay for the wedding together. Each family might commit to a certain amount, or it might be easier for each family to fund a particular part of the wedding. If there are any extra funds, know what your most important areas are to spend them on. When talking to vendors, let them know your price point. You need to look at the entire budget so you don't overspend on the dress or the venue, but you know what you can afford in each area. Ways to help the budget go further is to cut the guest list. The reception is your biggest expense. The reception can be up to 50% of your entire budget. And if you have a smaller number of guests, it will reduce the expense. Another tip to help the budget is to use the bridesmaids' bouquets on the tables for centerpieces for the reception. The next area to look at is the timeline. 12 months before the wedding, announce the engagement. Choose a wedding date, finalizing it after getting an okay from your important guests like your parents or grandparents. Draw up the budget. Start researching the ceremony and the reception sites. 9 months before the wedding is a busy time for research and booking. You will need to reserve the site of the ceremony, book your wedding reception venue, ask your officiant, choose your bridal party, bridesmaids, groomsmen, flower girl, and ring bearer, and any other person involved in the ceremony. Decide on your wedding colors and start thinking about a menu. Research your DJs, your photographers, and bands. Research rental places for lights and decorations. 6 to 8 months before the wedding, you will need to order your dress. Dresses can take about 4 months to arrive and about 8 weeks to alter, and you want it to be ready in time to take bridal portraits before the wedding. Now that you have done all your research, it is time to book. Book your florist, your photographer, or your videographer, your reception, your band, and your DJ. After all that cake tasting, book your baker for your cake and finalize your menu with the caterer. It is time to take your engagement photos and send out your save the dates and set up your gift registry and start planning your honeymoon. When it is 4 to 5 months before the wedding, finalize your flower designs with your florist and finalize your rentals, such as extra tables or chairs and linens and any extra decorations or drapings. Decide on the formal wear for the guides and decide on the design of the groom's cake. Book the site for the rehearsal dinner and finalize the menu. This will also be the time you would want to take some dance lessons if you want to choreograph your first dance. 3 months before the big day, you want to send out your invitations. 2 to 3 months before the wedding, make your beauty appointments for your hair and your facials. Choose your accessories like your jewelry or shoes, and work on the ceremony and reach out to the people that are going to be involved. Then start to work on the ceremony programs. Research your local marriage license requirements. Decide the must-have songs at the reception. This will be time for a bridal shower to be given in your honor, and don't forget to keep up with those thank you notes for all those gifts. The next category I would like to talk about is the guest list. Your major planning decision is dependent on your guest list. Depending on how many people you invite determines where to have the ceremony and reception. Some tips for the guest list: keep in mind your budget. More guests means more money. Establish quotas early. This will alleviate some acquaintances verbally getting invited while we'll never make the list. Have some criteria for cutting guests. For example, the bride and groom may want to decide to only invite people they know and not their mom and dad's friends. To save on the budget, you can send a save the date via email. Some tips for the invitations would include looking in books and magazines for ideas. Keep it simple. And when you decide on a monogram, use the same design for all your cards, such as thank you notes. Also, when you order your invitations, order your thank you notes at the same time and order a few extra invitations. A budget tip would be having a phone number on the invitation to call or text to RSVP, or set up an email account just for RSVPs. This way you don't have to include an RSVP card and stamps to be mailed back to you. Some tips for deciding on a venue: make sure it is the right size. If you want to have your ceremony at the same venue as the reception, make sure it can accommodate the ceremony and reception. See if they have enough room and chairs to set up for both. Think about being flexible with the time or day of the wedding. You can cut costs by booking a venue on a night besides a Saturday. Consider the view or the venue's decor, artwork, designer furniture, or chandelier that would be used to be a showcase for the reception, and add something special. Plus, you want to visit the venue at the time of your ceremony for lighting. If you are thinking about a home wedding, be aware of all the expense. Renting a tent, chairs, tables. Also, you would need to factor in parking and restrooms. If you want an outdoor wedding, you should include an alternative plan in case of rain. When choosing a caterer, always check references. Cooking good food for tasting does not always mean they can cook for a large group of people. Ask the caterer to give you a proposal. Make sure it includes cost per person, options for appetizers. Make sure the price includes rentals and tips. And how is the food laid out? What kind of presentation style do they have? Some things to keep the cost down is to just have appetizers instead of a full meal. If serving a meal, buffet style is the simplest way to serve. Also, have your appetizers served. This allows them to go further. Finally, the dress. When shopping for a dress, it is good to know your style, but it seems you have to learn a new language when in a boutique and they start asking you, what style do you like? Ball gown, sheath, A-line, flared, trumpet, or mermaid? What kind of back design do you want? Or do you want backless? What kind of neckline do you want? Halter, crossback, sweetheart, strapless, thin strap, keyhole? What kind of fabric do you like? Satin, chiffon, organza, tulle, lace? Do you want long sleeves, cap sleeves, Juliet sleeves, or sleeveless? So once you have decided on a style, some good things to know is to find an authorized store for wedding gowns. Also, wedding gowns run small, so you might have to go up a size. Furthermore, when shopping, it is nice to keep your entourage small, especially when it is final decision time. I really enjoyed talking with you today, and I hope you have learned something that will make your wedding planning a joy.